Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 2022 Garden State Film Festival, celebrating its amazing 20th anniversary year.
20 years.
Yeah, give it a big round of applause. Give it up, give it up, give it up.
20 years.
Give it up. My name is Ming Chen.
CJ Cullen.
Sophia Haber-Brock.
And I have not only amazing filmmakers, but someone I haven't seen in a long time, a new friend, and unbelievable. But I'll start here with the introductions. Your name, the film, and Mike, right up to your mouth.
I was waiting to see if you were going to say it. I was going to be really impressed if you knew who I was. I'm Lainey Ventura, and I am the star of Ensue. I also co-wrote and co-produced
Amazing
short film.
And I'm Jeffrey Cantor, the director of Ensue, and that's all I did on this film.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it was such a tiny job.
That's
such
all.
a small job.
It's a small film.
Yeah.
I was directing it.
Yeah.
We're going to jump right in.
Yes.
Wow. So how was directing it?
Yes.
Well, it was certainly a labor of love. It was actually a pretty smooth thing. We shot it in a day and a half, because we did lighting the day before.
Okay.
And then we did some B-roll, which is now in the credits.
Okay.
So that was a few hours on one day, and then we shot the entire thing the next day. Mm-hmm. And every scene is a oneer, so it's a locked off camera. So you're looking through a bathroom, and so the camera's locked off. So it's shot almost like you were doing a stage play.
Yeah.
So the actors got to do each scene. We shot them out of order because of daylight. We
Right.
use daylight to help tell the story. And we track a woman and her husband after a woman has had a double radical mastectomy and reconstruction one day. And we track them over the course of a year in 12 and a half minutes. So about a minute a month. Basically, yeah.
Wow, how did you come up with that? What was the inspiration?
Yeah.
Well, Lainey, what's the inspiration for the movie?
Well, interestingly enough, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2018, and I had one of many surgeries. My first surgery, I was recuperating and healing in my bedroom, and I was in a chair for many, many weeks because I couldn't lie flat, and I was just staring at my bathroom a lot of the day. And I was just thinking, we just you think creatively. It's kind of what we do. And I thought, it would be really interesting to shoot a film in the bathroom. And it just, I don't know, it was just, and I don't even remember if there was something very specific where the idea came from, but it was just this idea of, wouldn't it be neat to watch a couple over the course of a year in their most private space together, and what happens in there with them? Are they fighting? Are they happy? Are they joking around? Are they talking? Are they not talking? Are they, being flirty and fooling around? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And both together and individually, we would catch them in this space. So that's how it started, and it was made up of moments. So each moment was a different scene, day in their life,
Right.
Together, and a different month. And one of the moments mentions something about her cancer, so that you knew. We did at the time, because it was very early in cancer for me, and I felt very uncomfortable being, I guess, recognized as a cancer person. I didn't want to be a spotlight on cancer. So, but my co-writer and I both felt that it was important to have it in there. It had to be in there because it was like the inspiration for everything.
Right.
So there was one scene where it's mentioned, so And then when we handed the script over to Jeffrey, he said, I really love this. I love that it's such a personal thing for you and came from such a personal place. But I have to be honest, I really think that while it's lovely and cute and funny the way it is, I think this could be a really beautiful piece of art if we really talk about the cancer aspect. And I was
Hesitant.
I would say it wasn't really talking about it. It was making it more featured backdrop.
Mm-hmm.
So the scenes that she had written, once you understood that as the backdrop, then all of a sudden the dynamic of this couple seems to make a different kind of sense. Mm-hmm. And so we really didn't change much, but the context changed. And so I wouldn't say, yes, it's about breast cancer and breast cancer awareness, but it's not about that. It's
Right.
about a couple's
It's their
relationship
journey,
after a traumatic experience for both of them, but very differently. Obviously, it's her experience, but it impacts both of them. And we don't tell anybody really about what the inner workings of their heads are. They tell the audience
Right.
in moments between each other, and I think it tracks them really honestly. And the writing was really, really wonderful. And I've said this before, and she's going to deny this again, but I think it's extremely difficult to do your own writing. And Lainey, she's nominated for Best Actress in a Short, and her work in this is really spectacular. And to be able to bring truth to the script and also then bring truth on the screen is, I think, a real testament to her talent and her commitment to her art and her trust in me. I mean, she trusted me because I had certain ideas how I wanted to do it.
Because
Right.
he said, you have to trust me.
I didn't say it with an accent, but yes, I did say it. But
I believe in this man, Joe. I put my full trust in him. I have for the past 4 or 5 years, and look at where it got me.
Yeah.
Well,
Look
Jeff-
at me now. Look, we're looking.
so
Jeffrey
you're
and I-
going to catch in New Jersey.
Yeah.
We've known each other for a while, and in fact, we this film really brought us together
Yeah.
much closer. But Jeffrey had been coaching me already, but didn't know much about my personal life at the time. So
Right.
when I sent him this film, and he said, "This is real. I really love it conceptually." He said, "Just give me a little bit more background. Where did this come from?" And I said, "Well, you don't know this, but I just went through breast cancer surgery." And he said, "Oh," and he said,
I think I did exactly
You
right.
did.
That was your
Yeah,
reaction.
I
I think
heard.
that was exactly right. That was the quote.
I
Okay.
heard it.
Oh.
No, I heard him on the other end on the phone, and because when you say something like that, you're dropping a bomb on somebody.
Sure,
It's
sure.
like he's not expecting that.
No.
And I heard him just go, "Oh," and he said, "Well, now I love it even more because it's so personal."
Right.
So that brought, and then we started collaborating. I said, in addition, he was originally slated to play the role of my husband in the film.
Yeah.
And then said, "Listen, I really think it would be better served if I am directing. I will find you a wonderful actor to play your husband."
Which
and,
I did.
and he did. He got Rob Bogue, who was amazing.
Who's
But
so much better than I would have been.
We said, please, we want you also to collaborate. So we reworked the script with Jeffrey, and so we got much closer, and I trust him tremendously. I mean, he always has my best interest in my career, and in his I can't speak, I'm a little tired. He has my best interest in mind always. So I knew that I could give over and be very free and trust him, and we're great friends.
But
So
also,
that's-
the script. I remember when I read it, and then when we started talking, and even before we did any of the rewrites, I knew quite clearly how I wanted to shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I pretty much immediately, and I think I delivered exactly what I said I was going to do.
He did,
I mean,
and that's the one thing I tell people. I remember vividly the day that he came over and met the co-writer at my house, and he said, "This is what I see this is my vision for this film," and it was kind of a little bit of, "And if you want me on board, this is how it has to go." It's pretty much.
Oh, as a
well,
director,
it wasn't kind of. That was exactly what it was. Not only that, but our
Wow.
DP. So our DP is a friend of mine also who's worked with me before.
What's his name?
William Amenta.
Okay.
And he's out of Brooklyn, and he was like, "Can we just do a couple of other shots like for safe?" I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
no." So we had no safety shots. I did no close-ups. Everything was a locked off camera. That camera did not move.
What was the inspiration behind that? It's a very unique process.
So Shrek is really the inspiration. So remember
The Mike Myers animated-
remember in Shrek he talks about the onion.
Yes,
The
layers.
of the onion.
Onions have layers, ogres have layers,
Right.
yes.
So
Shrek.
Our
I'm just
face.
saying. So for me, the bathroom is her.
Okay.
Then and he sort of comes in and out, but it's mostly her.
Right.
Then the bedroom is them.
Okay.
And then what you hear the rest of the house. There's stuff happening. You hear stuff, and that's the rest of the house
Right.
and the rest of the world. And so for me, the best way to tell a story about a woman and her husband who are going through this, we definitely see what he's going through. But,
Okay.
But clearly, it's her movie. I mean, it's their movie, but it's her story. And I felt that the way to really show that, to have form and function working together, was to sort of keep us in her world where he gets to enter a little bit and then leave, and then she can be wherever she wants.
Yeah.
And that to me resonated. I'm not kidding. The minute I read it, I mean, I didn't storyboard it. I didn't storyboard it on paper, but I had this completely storyboarded in my head, like that. I didn't have to draw it because I have two actors and I have one space, so I didn't have to draw it out, but I knew exactly what I wanted.
And that's what we did. I mean, he's from day one. He said, "This is how I see it," and And that's one of the things I love too. Is every day I got a text message and said I was thinking about this, and what about if we do this for this scene, and what about he was
Yeah.
always in it, always thinking, always moving the story forward
Yeah.
and coming up, and I love that. I feel like he was so invested in it all the time. And in the very end, I said, you delivered it. You made a promise, and you delivered exactly what you said you would. So
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to give it away. The credits are something that I tacked on at the end, which I think propels the story nicely. And also so it's in this bathroom, and in order to get some shots that I really, really wanted, we added a second mirror. So it's all smoke and mirrors. No, it's steam and mirrors. So there's it's a proper mirror over the sink, and then we added another mirror so I could catch a little bit into the bedroom going in the other direction. So it three-dimensionalized the space even more, and I thought it actually was much more successful than I thought it would be. So
yeah, it worked really well.
How did your DP like that with the second mirror?
Yeah.
So he loved it.
Yeah.
He loved it because
Able to
it gave him. It worked out better than I thought it would. I mean, conceptually, I thought it might work, and we worked together to place it, and it turned out it helped with lighting. It helped with even where the line was, because I had him standing in a corner and he's looking in a mirror and catching her, and all of a sudden it looks like they're talking to each other, but he's in a mirror.
Okay, yeah.
And so it just adds yet another curious layer, and we see her in the mirror. When she's looking at the mirror, the camera's behind her, but you're still catching her face. And so I think it just tells layers of stories of how we sort of see ourselves, how we see each other, because we don't always
Shrek layers.
super Shrekky, super Shrekky.
How did you
except
come up
he's
with
way-
that technique? How did you use it before?
What, a locked-off camera?
Or the mirror.
The mirrors.
Like, how
Yeah,
did
I
Well,
was.
because I'm like
was
so
super
interesting.
smart. No, like mirrors are usually problems, like huge problems. Mirrors and windows are huge problems, but they can also be a real asset because they add so much depth in ways you don't expect, and they're visually surprising. I don't know if you've been. There's a new visual thing in New York City over by Grand Central where you go up and it's all glass and mirrors, and they did not get the idea from me, but the sort of the concept of using light and mirrors it helped us with lighting because it created a bounce, and so I mean it came to me. I don't remember a film where I'd seen that happen before, but I'm sure I have. Like, it didn't make it up that mirrors do that. Like, that's what mirrors do.
I saw one. I don't know if you saw the Bruce Lee movie, Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
At the end, where the fight scene with the mirrors.
Right.
I thought maybe you're like, oh man, that'd be
No,
bad.
I did use that. Although we did have a fight scene, but we had to take it out. 'Cause I'm kidding, we
It's a small
didn't.
bathroom.
We did have a fight scene.
Since you said it was about 12 minutes long,
Yeah.
did you have a lot of other story that you cut out of it that you did film? Or
We had a lot of dialogue, not story.
Okay.
We cut
Yeah,
we cut a lot of dialogue. For me, I mean, film is a visual medium. It is not. I mean, you can tell a story with no dialogue, and I found as much. I found as many places I could to take out what I thought was dialogue that was too on the nose, or where I was explaining to the audience something that could be done without words. And anytime on film, I think that you can do something without words, do it without words, because you then let the audience sort of use their brain and engage their brain more easily. But Buster Keaton, I just saw something on CBS. Buster Keaton was talking about how he on stage wouldn't smile, and that became his thing on film. He would never smile because he was afraid if he laughed, the audience wouldn't. And so it's a similar thing that in film, the less you explain to the audience, right, the less you sort of say this is a good person or a bad person, or this is what I'm thinking. I'm telling you what I'm thinking. The more the audience can sort of really engage and make their own decisions and maybe disagree. I
Let them
think
to
that
think for themselves.
in our film, I think there's a lot. Men and women will disagree, not with each other, but all genders, they, thems, him and hers, are all finding the film resonating on different levels, and some people think one thing about him and other things about, and it's that's what you want a film to do. You don't want to tell the audience what to do.
Right.
I think you want to give them the opportunity. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
I think.
It's just. Have you been directing for a while? Because I know you primarily as a film actor and a karaoke badass.
And TV.
Yeah, and TV. Yeah, for sure.
It's okay.
Karaoke badass.
Hey,
Done one karaoke song. You just happened to be there
you
for it.
destroyed that song. Yeah.
That's your new hashtag.
Yeah.
Karaoke badass.
Real quick.
There you go.
Real quick. We met at Comicpalooza in Houston about 4 or 5 years ago,
Comicpalooza in Houston.
and they have a celebrity karaoke thing on Saturday night. And you were gracious
the
enough
best,
to show up,
Thank
and
you.
you know,
What did
money
you
goes.
sing?
I sang "Is She Really Going Out with
Oh
Him?"
yes, you did.
Joe
Okay,
Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
brought the house down,
that's
my
great.
friend.
Brought the house down.
He basically.
Yes, he does that.
I brought the room down. It was hardly a house.
Yeah,
That
in the
was a
city of
room.
Houston, this man does not buy his own drinks anymore.
No,
based
that's
on that
true.
performance.
I also don't go to Houston anymore, but that's a whole different discussion. No, I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
but have you been directing for a while?
So I have directed some non-narrative. This is my narrative directorial debut.
Okay,
I've directed theater, and I've directed some unscripted stuff. I worked for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and directed content for them for about a year and a half, and have some. I created some other programming too. But this is my narrative directorial debut. But it felt quite natural. I mean, I have been in the business for a little while,
Right.
so it didn't feel at all unnatural. It felt supernatural for me to do it. And I was working with two professionals. I mean, Rob and Lainey freaking nailed this bitch. They crushed it. I mean, it's really amazing work they did. And also, I I'm a tyrant, so I won't let them look at playback.
Yeah, we can't have
Really?
this
We
discussion.
can have it. I'm just.
No, we're not having this
She
discussion.
thinks, I feel, because I feel it makes
We
people-
disagree.
We can
I
disagree.
vehemently disagree.
Right, but I'm going to finish my sentence. And you
Okay.
can disagree with
Okay.
it afterwards.
You're literally
It's accurate.
disagreeing
I think
right
they
now.
get
I
it.
love it.
As a director, I think I don't want my. Stop shaking your head till I'm done. As a director, I don't think that being self-conscious about your own work. It's my job. It's my taste. It's my decision. I don't look at playback unless the director says, "Please look at this because you're standing off camera."
Okay.
Like then I would, but I never look at playback because I want to stay away from watching myself work because then I'm no longer able to stay in it as well.
Okay.
And that is my set, and so my set will always be that way. When you work with somebody else, they can. But I don't let nobody looks at playback.
It's not going to happen again.
Nobody looks at playback on me.
That's not true.
I'm not
It
saying-
was yes. I had a big problem with that. And I had more of a problem with it afterwards because this was Jeffrey was directing
Yeah.
and there was a lot going on. And even though I was producer, I agreed to it, but I did it not happily.
Okay.
But I don't agree with it because
Okay.
I do feel I have been on set where a director has said, "Come here, I just want you to watch this so you can see what's happening here."
Right.
For me, I don't get self-conscious if I see myself. It
Okay.
helps me because I see the picture now. I can see what they
Right,
see,
right.
and it makes sense to me. And I can see where I am in the space, and I can see, oh, you know what? I can see something that might need to be changed, a physicality or something.
Right. So for me, as the director, if I invited you, that'd be one thing. So,
Right, and you interrupted me because I let you finish. So, so I love you. Big
Continue.
So for me, I won't do that again.
Okay.
If I won't be sitting at the playback machine the whole day.
Right, but you
if
wanna
I
take a
feel
glance.
in a moment, you know what, I just need to see how this is playing, so I know better at where I am in the space.
Yeah.
Then that's something I need to do, and I should have the right to do that.
Okay.
And it's not. It becomes a power struggle, and it shouldn't be.
Okay.
I don't want there to be a power struggle. I want it to be understood that listen, we all have a if it's like you're doing a voiceover. Let's hear the playback.
Right,
I
right.
want to hear how I sound. Oh, you know what? I went up in pitch on that. I didn't like that. Oh, you know what? I looked up in that moment and it's too. I just don't like it. Maybe I'm catching something about myself that I need to fix. I know what my isms are. I know what
Okay.
my quirks are when I'm acting, and sometimes you forget, and sometimes it pops out. Do you know what I mean by that? Like your little. Sometimes you do things
Sure.
that you should, right. And I have a certain way of like he points out. I have a tendency sometimes to kind of slouch, and he told it to me, but I did catch it. But had I seen myself doing it, it would have resonated a little bit more with me. So that's where I come from.
Okay.
We each have our own opinion on
Yeah,
that.
totally.
We will be working
really?
together.
I didn't notice.
We will be.
We completely share an opinion. It's
Yeah.
just a different one.
Yeah,
But-
we will be working together again,
Yes.
and we will have a more
That'll be in the-
thorough discussion.
that'll be in the
about
pre-production
that.
meeting.
That will be there will be contracting done on that. So
Okay.
I already know. Huh? I'm going to put it in my contract.
Yeah,
Yes.
but yeah, wait, you
But-
did say she won or was nominated for Best Actress.
Nominated, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
so I carry some
I
clout now.
think I made some. No, I
just-
think that means I made the right decisions.
yeah.
It's all about you, Jeffrey Cantor.
We will agree to disagree, I guess, on
And
this.
that we disagreed on.
Okay,
you know, we had,
or disagree, but
I would
yes.
say on the balance.
Okay.
That we agreed far more than
Yes, we
disagreed.
did.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't do a film like this. It was super intense. I mean, it's
Yeah.
an intense thing to do it in a day, and you know, we clearly adore each other, and the little bits of disagreements we have are pale in comparison
Oh, yeah.
to what we created.
And again,
I'm
it comes
super
down to
proud of
trust.
it.
Like I trust him implicitly. I trust him with my
Right.
career. He coaches me. If he's suggests a certain thing, I listen to him. I'm a good student that way anyway. If somebody who's very knowledgeable or an expert in something tells me a certain way to do something, I will listen and I will do it. So when he coaches me in that way, I listen because I want to learn.
Right.
Because he's a phenomenal actor and he's a great director. So I'm going to listen to him. So and that's why I will work with him forever, again and again. So.
Amazing.
And we get better. And now we know each other so much better now. And now we know how
sorry,
our
your
work
name?
styles.
Laney, I think. Yeah. So what are you going on the festival circuit with this? Have you been?
We have been, yes.
Okay.
We premiered. Our world premiere was at Newport Beach in California,
Okay.
which was a fabulous festival just like this. It was amazing, huge, and met lots of people.
Yeah.
In fact, that's how we got here.
Yeah,
because I
apparently
met
Heather
one of,
was,
Heather was
Heather
all
had
over
made
it,
the
yeah.
rounds around the country finding films.
Yeah,
to do.
Heather
found us.
Yeah, she found us.
Heather was doing her homework.
Yeah,
man.
she was,
She's
she
been
was
really
getting a bunch
great.
of Newport.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. So we were there. We've been in. This is our 5th live festival.
Okay.
Okay.
We've
Wow.
already won quite a bit of awards.
Yeah. So I was
quite a
going to ask
few.
you how the reception was,
Yeah.
but
The
you're
reception
you know,
was
We're doing
you've got a
really
mantle
well.
full of awards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little
it
bit
sounds like
ridiculous.
and
He's
laurels.
won a
yeah.
few Best Actor. Rob's won a bunch of Best Director.
No,
I mean,
other way
Best
around.
Director. Rob's
I won Best Actor for directing.
Yeah, he won.
I acted
'Cause
like
he
a
acted
director.
like a director. You do have that outfit.
I know.
Yeah. So
I dressed up like a director.
I love it.
Just
The
like a
beanie,
director.
yeah, the
Yeah.
sunglasses.
That is the director look.
I'm
Yeah.
feeling
The
very
director
New
look.
York.
The Converses, yes, for sure.
the accent and everything. So, and we're actually getting started on we have our next project together that's already lined up.
Well, can you
It's
talk
a
about
short
it?
film that I wrote.
Okay.
At the start of the pandemic, I wrote it on my own.
Okay.
It's I write essays a lot, so screenwriting is sort of new to me. So I wrote with a
I'm
partner
very
before.
glad she wrote it without her partner.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Because everybody had been encouraging me to write on my own,
Yeah.
write something,
Yeah.
and I was
Really happy
always
about
kind of, on the fence about it. And I had, what happened was when Jeffrey said to me that he wasn't going to act in my film that day, that awful day on the phone, and I felt my insides drop because the whole reason I made this film was because
wanted to act.
I wanted to act on screen with Jeffrey because he was the most famous person that I had such close contact with at the time. So I said, I want to
At
be
the
on screen
time.
with him at the time. Not so much now.
Now she's met Matt Servita.
Well, oh yeah. Yeah. So I said, well, it took me a day or two to kind of be okay with that. So then he said, I'll find you an actor just like me, I promise. So then he started sending me pictures of all these actors that are bald with a beard. And I said, I don't want an off-brand Jeffrey Cantor.
Right, a couple of them out there for
So
sure.
he found, it was Danny Burstein
Off-brand
and Matt
Jeffrey
Servito
Cantor.
and-
I mean,
he was sending me
wait a
all-
minute. That said, these are all like spectacular actors.
I
Sure.
know, it's
You know,
true.
they
It's
just
true.
happen to be of a certain age.
It's just,
But
yeah,
the guy
and
we got,
look,
Rob Bogue,
yeah.
is a full head of hair.
He's
and
gorgeous.
is-
He's a soap star.
He's ridiculous.
He's fabulously
He's
talented.
ridiculously good.
So
way
good.
better than I would have been.
He came in and just like he met us on the day we were shooting the
Yeah.
promo for it, and he hung out with me for a long time and asked me a lot of questions, and we talked about the story and about where it all came from, and
Right.
just sort of getting to know each other. And he just fit. It just worked so
Actually,
perfectly.
what happened was I saw him. We were this is pre-pandemic.
Okay.
So I saw him at an audition. We both had this like a voiceover audition way down on John Street, and I'm like, I have a job for you. He goes, what? He goes, I want you to be in a movie. He goes,
Before you even asked me,
well, no.
you sent me. Well, you sent
Yeah.
me when you
I-
ran into him in the city. You said check him out.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I knew.
And I said to me, I said, oh God,
and
yes.
He really like was even better than I thought he
Yeah,
was going to
he
be.
was
He's remarkable.
Yeah.
So, but the movie that she's writing
But
now.
wait, no. So
Go
because
ahead,
he
right.
said, I'm not going to be in this one, I said, well, you owe me one. So now I had to write.
Yeah.
I had to come up with something else.
for it.
So he went from being the sweet, loving, romantic husband or whatever in the bathroom to now he's going to be the seedy, nasty, homeless guy in the next one.
Except then something happened.
But then, it's
Because then
and now he's not doing
then
that
I said
either.
again,
Oh my God,
I am not going
I
to
totally
be
forgot.
in it. I'm directing it, and Matt
Oh,
Servito
okay.
has agreed to play
Okay.
the guy.
Right.
Now, and
And
I'm
did
okay with
you-
that because Matt's way more famous.
Did
than
you
Jeffrey.
meet him here?
No,
at
I've
the
known
fest?
Matt.
or-
And I,
not you- okay.
Matt and I have known each other for years. We at
Right.
one point. So at one point we played. We look a little bit alike, but at one point we played twin FBI agents in something that Josh Trank.
Yes. Okay.
Right,
Yes.
a
The
long,
famous
long time
Josh
ago.
Trank.
And
Yeah.
then there was we were both in a commercial for Apple, and he was in a different bit of the spot, and I get to my fitting, and they're like, "Oh, we've already fit you." I'm like, "No, you haven't. Yeah, we have that brown suit. And we already fit you." I'm like,
Wow.
"No, you haven't." And they got nasty.
Right.
That don't stop that. And they came and showed me, and they take out the suit and they showed
Yeah,
me.
you look
Servito.
great.
I said,
It's like-
Jeffrey Cantor. And so they literally thought I was Matt Servito.
Right.
They were mad at me for not being him.
Right.
As other people might be as well. But anyway, so he said yes to doing
That's
this.
really exciting
He and I are
because
great.
we were talking on the phone about it, and I said something about talking about the film, and so I met Matt a few months back at a
Okay.
screening, and he said, "What are you working on?" And I said, "Well, I'm doing this film that I wrote, and Jeffrey's going to work on it with me." I said, and Jeffrey's very particular about who directs him, so I said, "Would you direct it?" I said, "Let me send it to you. Would you direct it?" So he read it, and he's got a lot of things he's working on right
Yeah.
now. So I think it was just so low on the thing for him. And he's like, "I really like the concept. I think it's great," but he wouldn't commit. And then I forgot about it completely. And then like 2 months later, I said to Jeffrey, "Did I ever tell you that I sent Matt the Train House script?" And he's like, "No. What did he say?" I said, "Well, these are the things that he said about whatever." And he goes, "Lainey, I'm really digging this directing thing, and I really think you and Matt would be terrific on screen together." And here it was.
This directing thing, but
That's exactly what you said. Yeah. You said, "I'm really digging the whole directing
Must have been
thing."
drunk.
You probably.
Let's just say yes. But yeah.
And he's like, "I think you and Matt would be really terrific together." And I was about to go at him, and then I was like, "Oh, I think he's right.
Yeah.
I think that could be great. Oh my God, Matt.
On
Okay,
principle,
goodbye, Jeffrey.
she would get mad at me, but in fact,
Yes.
he's going to be great.
He's going to be so great as
Yeah.
Matt
I
Servito,
do
so.
not want to direct myself for the very same reason I don't.
You were
want
never going to
yeah,
direct
yeah.
and star in
Right,
that one, though.
And
That was
also,
always going to be
and
somebody else.
also, I've been fortunate to work with certain directors, and I have, even in some of the TV and film I've done, I want to be directed, and there aren't a lot of people who, at a certain level, who I'm going to learn anything from
Right.
on that level right now.
And I really like
and
working
and
with Jeffrey as
directing
director.
is something, this is the level where I can start building that part of my life, and it feels great. And there's another terrific idea. Of course, one already has ideas for it, but also Matt is a terrific actor, and when you have three people working together in a project, look, film is not the kind of collaborative art form that stage is. It just isn't. But it is a collaborative art form. It's a social art form. And when you have three people who can bring their own artistic vision to bear on something, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I were in it and directing it, like was maybe going to happen with Ensuite, it would have been too insular. It would have been like your brain on incest. It's like you to have somebody else, to have Rob's performance and his sensibility just popped exponentially, I think, what we got.
Yeah.
And I think that the same is going to happen. Just generally, I do not really ever want to direct myself, unless it's like a walk-on. If
Yeah.
like, oh, wait, we
Like
need a
cameo.
waiter. Okay, I'll be
Oh,
a waiter.
all right,
Like,
yeah,
oh,
like,
I can do that
I can
part.
direct this.
But
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this because I have some work to do on the script, and once all this
Yeah.
is over, I will have the time to sit down because I wrote it at the start of the
Yeah,
pandemic,
yeah.
and I've gone back a few times and have some new ideas, and Jeffrey has already given me some, and what we'll do, and I've very open about let's collaborate because the thing is I trust him and he always has great ideas. There are some but I will try, I think this time maybe to stick to my guns a little bit more with some
Well, but-
stuff
but-
because this is really, this whole story came out of my head.
Yeah.
Everything was written out
The
of my
process
head.
is already different because we started talking about it before you had to put it all.
Yes,
and
we
you
did.
don't have a collaborator who hates me.
That's true. And it's sort of a tragic love story about this homeless man and this very broken woman.
Yeah.
And it's very beautiful. And it's funny, I was talking to somebody I met at the festival about it, one of the lovely woman at
And they
one
said,
of
when
the
is it coming out?
No, she said, oh my God, I'm getting chills. I started telling her about it. And it really is, it's this beautiful story. I just have to make sure that, the script is, and he will make
Yeah.
sure of that.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he's
yeah.
really, it's like the script doctor.
Yeah.
So I'll put it all down there and then he'll take his red pen.
And no rush, but we may be seeing you back here next year, possibly.
Unless we get a lot of money between
Yeah,
now
I have a
and...
feeling
Oh,
we probably,
okay.
'Cause we need money. We need money
unless
for
as
it.
actors. I mean, there might be something that comes up between.
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
But for this film, we want to film it probably in the fall months, probably like October, November. And I don't think we'll...
Okay,
we're not
post-production
gonna-
and everything
I mean,
will be ready.
We could
Unlikely.
be, but
There's-
if we had the money and we had the real,
And there's a lot of other stuff going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
Everything's picking up now, right?
Everything's
Yeah.
picking up.
Everything's
Yeah,
picking
I
up,
got
so-
there's some acting stuff that's popping already, and I'm directing a play in June.
Okay.
I'm directing.
You're busy.
I'm directing a program about young people and suicide loss in August, a non-scripted thing. So and of course Daredevil may pop its ugly head back in
Season 4.
Good.
Let's-
Yeah, that would be
fingers
great.
crossed,
2023,
everybody.
I mean, that's what the rumor mill is saying.
Yeah.
They've already set up a production company
Yeah.
called Blind Faith Productions. So that's a big hint.
Nelson and Murdoch, avocados at law,
Yeah,
coming
avocados
back
at
at you. Coming back at you. So you're screening at 2:15 today?
2:45.
2:45. It's 12:51. We'll get you there. And
And we've got a couple of self-tapes to do
Not
before
mine.
that.
I'm not
You have
doing
one.
mine.
Are you not doing
No,
yours?
I'm doing
Yeah, we come to this crazy busy film festival and get auditions. And
Hey, man,
now
it
we
never
have a tripod
stops.
set up and
It never
yeah,
stops.
It never
So-
stops.
Question?
I
Never
was
stops.
going to ask you about directing a play in theater versus directing a film.
So interestingly enough, the way I directed this film is as close to stage directing as you'll get, because again, we did not stop anybody. We were doing, every scene was a oneer, and that's kind of the way you have it on stage. So I just let them go. I didn't stop them. I only yelled cut if they forgot a line, that was important. But basically, if you think of stage as a proscenium, most stage anyway, theater getting around, tons of different kinds of theater. But
Yes.
if you think of a proscenium as sort of this wide thing that people watch.
Yeah.
We just took that and shifted it, and so it was a corridor.
Okay.
So we're shooting into a corridor through the bathroom into the bedroom, so it widens out like that.
Right.
And so it still tracks very much like a play in that way. So it's a great question. Were I to shoot a more conventional film, like this other film is going to probably be a bit more conventional,
Yeah.
then you have, you get all the shots, and you got to make sure you take care of the line, and so there's a lot more technical aspects, and you have to rely, for me, it's about relying on my DP, because I
Yep.
don't want to think too much about that. I understand it. When I was doing a show called The Kill Point for Spike TV, the director, Stephen Schill, let me stand behind the camera while he was shooting other stuff, and so I actually got a grasp of that aspect
Yeah.
of it that I hadn't really understood before.
That's
Which
awesome.
do you prefer, theater or film? That's a tough question, I know.
Oh.
Theater, because of the ride you get to go on. So you get rehearsal, and you get guidance, and you get this experience. It is a much more collaborative art form. And once you're on that stage, you're on that stage, and you're on that freaking ride until it's over, no matter what happens. There's an excitement to that you don't get elsewhere. You do have to be a little more performative because you have an audience you need to be aware of, whether you're in the round or they're in front of you, that you have to acknowledge. And so there's a bit of that that's happening. But and you also get the response from the audience immediately, so the ego certainly digs that. But what's nice about film is everything is super real. It's like you don't have to yell. Like if you're sitting here, this is how loud you have to talk. I mean, if you imagine the camera's the audience, you don't have to project. It's right there.
Right.
And so all of a sudden, you can talk in normal tones. You can look where you want to look. You can pick up a real object. You can drink a real thing. You can hold something. And so that also takes away some of the obligation to imagine things while you're also doing your work. But you also have had no rehearsal. You also have to do that scene again. And also, if you cross your arms on that line, you have to cross your arms on that line again. And so, and it pays a shit ton more. So,
there is that.
I don't know. There's a problem in the United States, especially with actors, where it's like, I'm a TV actor, I'm a film actor, I'm a commercial actor, I'm a voiceover actor, I'm a stage actor. be a freaking actor and do them all. Don't learn for your medium. Don't act for your medium. Let the director help you in terms of those kinds of adjustments. Those are logistics. And for me, I'm an actor. I do whatever. And even directing for me is the same head.
Yeah.
It's the same head. I look at it all the same way. It's just I don't have to do the deep dive that you have to do as an actor, as a director. You don't do a deep dive.
Right.
Because that's the actor's jobs.
Yeah. So 2:45 today. Which venue?
We're here.
Oh, here at the
Yeah.
Berkeley, the
Kingsley Ballroom.
the Kingsley Ballroom.
Yes.
The Kingsley Ballroom.
2:45. Is there a website, social media for
We have social
Ensuite?
media. Instagram is Ensuite Film.
Okay.
And Facebook is Ensuite a short film.
Okay.
And Twitter is Ensuite Film. I
And
think.
you have two.
And I have Lainey Ventura is my Facebook,
Yes.
and Lainey V1 is Lainey VEE1.
And Mr. G. Cantor is Instagram.
Yeah.
Jeffrey
Instagram.
Cantor on Facebook.
Amazing. Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you so
Great,
much.
great
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank
Great luck
you.
with the screening.
Thanks.
If you're
Thank you.
here at the fest, 2:45, Kingsley Ballroom at the Berkeley Oceanfront
Potential winner.
Hotel.
Best actress in a
And
short film.
It's just
yes.
an honor to be nominated.
If you're anywhere near Asbury, come see Ensuite, and then stay for the rest of the films, and then the award ceremonies
Awards,
tonight as
yeah.
well.
Tonight,
So
tonight.
yeah, the fest rolls on, my friends. 20th anniversary year at gsff.org. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody watching.
Thank
I'll
you.
I'll see you soon.
Look that way.